Listen to me, every single one of you woke up this morning with two choices: to exist or to live. Existing means you breathe, you move, you talk, but living means you build, you fight, you create. The tragedy of life is not death, it's getting to the end and realizing you never truly lived, never truly made it happen. I'm not here to entertain you, I'm here to wake something up in you, because your future self is begging you to stop waiting and start moving today. You keep saying you're waiting for the right time, but let me ask you a real question. When has life ever given you the perfect conditions to rise? The truth is, there is no perfect time. There's only now. And every day you hesitate, every moment you stall, life is passing you by. I don't care if you're broke, tired, scared, or confused. The only way to change your situation is to move. Do you hear me? Move. You've been praying, you've been wishing, you've been writing down dreams, but nothing is going to change until you get up and act. You're not going to think your way into success. You've got to grind your way into it. Let me remind you of something Marcus Aurelius once said: a man's worth is no greater than his ambitions. If your ambition is great, but your action is small, then your worth is being wasted. You've been sitting on talent, sitting on gifts, sitting on opportunities that are waiting for you to seize them, but because you want comfort, because you want certainty, you keep waiting. Waiting doesn't create wealth. Waiting doesn't build legacy. Waiting doesn't put food on the table. Action does. Think about the farmer who never plants a seed because he's waiting for the perfect weather. He starves while his neighbor who planted in the storm eats from the harvest. Some of you are starving, not because you don't have potential, but because you refuse to plant. You keep telling yourself, I'll start when I have more money, more time, more connections. That's not how it works. You start with what you've got. You take that small step, and that small step opens the door for the bigger one. I'll tell you what wealth really is. It's the accumulation of consistent actions compounded over time. It's not one big move. It's a series of small, relentless moves. A man who spends years waiting will find himself watching someone else live the life he dreamed of. Don't you dare let another year pass with you still talking about what you're going to do. You've been talking for too long. Talking doesn't pay the bills. Talking doesn't build an empire. Execution does. And let's get real. Life is not going to pause for you. You can't negotiate with time. Time is undefeated. And every second you waste is a second you'll never get back. The ancient proverb says the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is now. Stop crying about what you didn't do yesterday. Stop regretting the chances you missed. You can't rewrite the past, but you can write the future if you get up and act today. So the question isn't whether you have what it takes. The question is whether you're willing to stop waiting and start doing. Because the world doesn't reward intentions, it rewards execution. You've got dreams, you've got goals, you've got vision, but the clock is ticking. Stop waiting, start doing, make it happen. Every time you open your mouth with an excuse, you're writing the story of why you'll never have what you said you wanted. You're building a case for your own failure. And the sad part is, nobody cares about your excuse but you. The world doesn't stop because you had it hard, because the circumstances weren't fair, because you didn't have the resources. Life doesn't pay you for reasons. It pays you for results. Excuses don't build legacies. Work does. When you're gone, people won't gather around and remember all the reasons you gave for why you didn't make it. They're not going to say, oh, he would have been successful if he wasn't tired, if he didn't come from poverty, if life wasn't unfair. No, they'll only remember what you actually did. And if you did nothing, then that's the legacy. You disappear without leaving a mark. You think you're protecting yourself by making excuses, but in reality, you're robbing yourself of the chance to be great. Think about the builders of ancient monuments, the pyramids, the temples, the walls that still stand today. Do you think those men and women had comfort? Do you think they had perfect tools, perfect weather, perfect conditions? No, but they built something that outlasted generations. Why? Because they refused to bow to excuses. They refused to let circumstances dictate their greatness. And here you are with more resources in your pocket than kings and queens once had, but still paralyzed by excuses. The truth is, excuses are easy because they make you feel safe. They let you off the hook. You can say it's not my fault and sleep at night. But let me tell you the reality. Excuses will never deposit a check into your bank account. Excuses will never open doors. Excuses will never buy your freedom. Excuses only guarantee regret. I once heard a powerful saying, he who has a why to live can bear almost anyhow. That's Nietzsche. And it's true. If your why is strong enough, you'll find a way through the pain, through the obstacles, through the lack. But if your why is weak, every excuse will sound like a valid reason to quit. So the problem isn't your situation, it's your why. You've got to ask yourself, is my why strong enough to silence my excuses? Wealth doesn't respond to excuses. Legacy doesn't respond to excuses. Greatness doesn't respond to excuses. They only respond to sacrifice, consistency, and action. Stop telling yourself you can't because you don't have enough time. Stop saying you can't because you don't have the right connections. Stop saying you can't because life isn't fair. Life has never been fair. But the ones who rise are the ones who decide to show up and grind anyway. So hear me clearly. Nobody is going to remember the excuses you made. They'll only remember what you built. And the choice is simple. You can spend the rest of your life justifying why you didn't, or you can dig deep, cut off the excuses, and make it happen. Pain is not your enemy. Pain is your teacher, your trainer, your greatest ally. If you learn how to use it, too many of you spend your whole life running from discomfort, running from struggle, running from anything that doesn't feel good. And because you run, you never grow, because you avoid the very thing that was designed to shape you. You remain weak. Listen to me. Every ounce of pain you feel is a signal that you are alive, that you're being stretched, that you're being prepared for something greater. The problem is you've been trained to see pain as punishment, when in reality it's preparation. When a blacksmith takes raw iron and beats it with fire and hammer, the process looks brutal, but that's how a sword is formed. If you looked at the iron and said, that's cruel, it shouldn't have to go through that, you'd miss the point. Without the fire, without the hammer, it never becomes what it was designed to be. And you're the same way. Without the adversity, without the late nights, without the heartbreak, without the rejection, you'll never become the version of yourself capable of carrying wealth, legacy, and greatness. The philosopher Seneca once said, difficulties strengthen the mind as labor does the body. You say you want to be mentally strong, emotionally unshakable, spiritually grounded, but you don't want to go through anything. You want the strength without the struggle, but it doesn't work that way. Muscles don't grow without resistance. Diamonds don't form without pressure, and you will not reach your full potential without pain. Think about every breakthrough in your life. It was born out of pain. That time you were broke and had to figure out how to survive. That heartbreak that forced you to find your worth. That failure that taught you what success really costs. Those were not punishments, those were lessons. But you missed them because you were so focused on the discomfort that you didn't embrace the growth. Wealth is not just about dollars, it's about becoming valuable. And value is created in the furnace of pain. When you've been through the fire and survived, you carry a weight, a depth, a resilience that no book, no seminar, no shortcut can ever give you. Pain builds character, and character attracts opportunities. When people see you can handle the storm, they trust you with the ship. I need you to stop asking, why me? And start asking, what is this trying to teach me? Every setback has a seed of growth. Every disappointment is an instruction. Every painful season is equipping you with tools you'll need for the next level. And the irony is, the very thing you're running from is the very thing you need to get to your destiny. So don't waste your pain. Don't bury it. Don't numb it. Transform it. Use it as the fire under your feet. Use it as the reason you wake up earlier, stay later, grind harder, because when you learn to turn pain into power, nothing can stop you. You'll look back at your scars, not with shame, but with pride, knowing those scars were the price of greatness. And that's why you can't run anymore. Stop running. Stop hiding. Embrace the pain and make it happen. Everybody wants to feel motivated, but motivation is a feeling, and feelings change. You wake up some days ready to take on the world, and the next day you don't even want to get out of bed. If your success is built on motivation, then your success is built on sand. The wind will blow, the rain will come, and everything you built will collapse. That's why discipline is the real foundation. Discipline means you show up whether you feel like it or not. Discipline means your actions aren't dictated by your emotions, but by your commitments. Look, the wealthiest people, the greatest builders, the ones who left legacies behind, they weren't fueled by motivation every day. They were fueled by discipline. The Roman philosopher Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." That means freedom doesn't come from doing whatever you feel like. It comes from mastering your habits, your time, your mind, and that mastery only comes through discipline. Think about an athlete training for the Olympics. Do you think they're motivated to wake up at 4 a.m. every single day? Do you think they always feel like pushing their body to the breaking point? No, but their discipline pushes them when their feelings won't. And because of that, they stand on podiums while the ones who relied on motivation quit halfway through. Discipline is the reason a farmer plants in the heat, in the cold, when he's tired, when he's sore, because he knows the harvest doesn't wait for his feelings. Discipline is the reason a soldier sharpens his weapon every day, even in peace, because he knows when the battle comes, his preparation will be the difference between life and death. And discipline is the reason you will either build your dream or watch somebody else live it while you make excuses. Motivation is like a spark. It can light a fire, but it burns out quick. Discipline is the wood you keep stacking, the fire you keep feeding until it becomes a blaze nobody can put out. Discipline is not glamorous, it's not exciting, but it's the secret ingredient behind every legacy. You want wealth? Discipline with your money. You want health? Discipline with your body. You want impact? Discipline with your time. It's not complicated, it's consistent. And here's the truth. Discipline hurts at first. It feels like restriction. It feels like sacrifice. It feels like you're losing something. But over time, that discipline turns into freedom. Freedom from financial stress because you learn how to manage your money. Freedom from disease because you took care of your body. Freedom from regret because you built something that will outlast you. Stop chasing motivation. Motivation is temporary. Discipline is eternal. You can't keep waiting for the mood to strike you before you move. You've got to move regardless of how you feel. You've got to train yourself to show up, to push through, to execute when everything in you wants to quit. Because when discipline becomes your default, nothing can stop you. And that's the truth. You don't need more hype. You don't need more motivation. What you need is discipline. Build it, live it, breathe it, and make it happen. Too many of you are exhausted, not because of the grind, but because of the things you're trying to control that were never yours to carry. You're draining your energy worrying about what people think, about the opportunities you didn't get, about the things that are out of your hands, and you wonder why you don't have the strength to focus on your own race. Listen, you cannot spend your life chasing shadows. You've got to lock in on what is yours to control and let go of the rest. That's the only way you move forward. The Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." That's truth. You can't control how people treat you, but you can control how you respond. You can't control the economy, but you can control your hustle. You can't control who doubts you, but you can control how hard you work. The problem is you're wasting so much energy complaining about doors that didn't open that you're missing the doors that are wide open in front of you. Think about a farmer again. He can't control the rain. He can't control the sun, but he can control the seed he plants, the soil he works, the consistency with which he shows up in his field. And guess what? Even in seasons when the rain is scarce or the sun is too harsh, that farmer will still see a harvest because he focused on what was in his hands. Meanwhile, the man who spends all day staring at the sky, cursing the weather, ends up with nothing. Which one are you? Some of you are stuck because you keep fighting battles that aren't yours. You spend all your time trying to prove yourself to people who were never meant to validate you. You spend all your time worrying about outcomes instead of working on your input. You can't control if people buy your product, but you can control the excellence of what you put into it. You can't control if the world applauds you, but you can control your character, your consistency, your craft. That's where your power is. Wealth doesn't come to the one who complains about circumstances. It comes to the one who masters what they've been given. You want financial freedom? Control your spending, control your habits, control your discipline with every dollar. Stop stressing about the economy or who's in office. Control your grind. You want health? Control what you eat. Control how you move your body. Stop worrying about genetics or things you can't change. You want peace. Control your thoughts. Control your environment. Control who you let into your space. You've got two options every day. Waste your life fighting things. You'll never change or take ownership of the things you can. The more you focus on what's in your hands, the stronger you become, the more doors open, the more progress you make. The moment you stop chasing what's out of your control is the moment you get your power back. So hear me, shift your focus. Stop fighting battles that aren't yours. Control what you can. Ignore what you can't. That's how you build. That's how you grow. That's how you win. And if you really want to make it happen, that's the only way. Everybody wants the celebration, but nobody wants the sacrifice. Everybody loves the idea of the reward, the recognition, the lifestyle, but very few are willing to pay the price. And that's why most people live average, because they want to party today and expect success to show up tomorrow. But it doesn't work that way. You've got to sacrifice now so you can celebrate later. You've got to give up temporary pleasures if you want permanent freedom. You look at the greats, the builders of empires, the founders of nations, the thinkers who shaped generations. They weren't out here chasing comfort. They were willing to pay the price that others wouldn't. There's a reason the ancient proverb says, "He who would rule must first learn to serve." Sacrifice is the training ground. Sacrifice is what separates those who dream from those who achieve. Think about the student who stays up late grinding through books while everyone else is out enjoying themselves. That student is sacrificing hours of fun, but years later, they're living a life of options, while the ones who partied away their time are trapped by their own short-sighted choices. Think about the athlete who skips the nights out, who sacrifices junk food, who sacrifices comfort for conditioning. That athlete stands on the podium with a medal while the others watch from the sidelines. Think about the entrepreneur who reinvests every dollar, who sacrifices luxury in the short term so they can build wealth that outlasts them. These are the people who understand you sacrifice now so you can celebrate later. But the problem with most of you is you want both at the same time. You want to sleep 8 hours a night and still build an empire. You want to spend every dime you make and still be financially free. You want to waste time with distractions and still expect success to meet you on your timeline. Listen, success doesn't negotiate with laziness. It doesn't show up because you wish for it. It shows up because you sacrifice for it. Aristotle once said, "Through discipline comes freedom." That's the paradox. The very things you think you're losing through sacrifice, comfort, convenience, pleasure, are the very things you gain tenfold when you pay the price up front. Sacrifice the party today, and you can host the celebration tomorrow. Sacrifice the luxury today, and you can buy freedom tomorrow. Sacrifice the distractions today, and you can build a legacy tomorrow. Don't get it twisted. Sacrifice is not punishment, it's an investment. Every hour you sacrifice to study, every dollar you sacrifice to save, every comfort you sacrifice to grow, that's equity in your future. That's planting seeds that will multiply. The problem is you want the harvest without the planting. You want the applause without the work. You want the celebration without the sacrifice. But I'm telling you, if you can discipline yourself to sacrifice now, the celebration will come. And it won't just be a momentary celebration. It'll be a lifetime of freedom, of impact, of wealth, of legacy. You can have your fun now and regret later, or you can sacrifice now and rejoice later. The choice is yours. But if you're serious about making it happen, the path is clear. Sacrifice now, celebrate later. The moment you think you've arrived, the moment you start believing you've done enough, that's the moment you start dying. Hunger is what drives you. Hunger is what pushes you beyond the limits. Hunger is what keeps you from getting comfortable. But hunger alone isn't enough. You've also got to stay humble, because if you let success get to your head, if you let achievement make you arrogant, you'll lose the very thing that got you here in the first place. Hunger keeps you moving. Humility keeps you grounded. Without both, you'll never build something that lasts. The truth is, many of you get a little bit of progress and you slow down You hit a small milestone and you start acting like you've made it. You finally get out of debt, finally land a job, finally buy a car, and suddenly you're coasting. But coasting kills dreams. Because while you're relaxing, someone else out there is hungrier, and they're coming for what you thought was secure. You can't afford to lose that hunger. Think about Alexander the Great, who conquered much of the known world before the age of 30. His hunger was unmatched. But when he let pride creep in, when he lost humility, his empire began to crumble from within. Hunger built his empire, but humility could have sustained it. You've got to learn from that. Stay hungry so you never stop growing, and stay humble so you never destroy what you've built. So when you're hungry, you wake up earlier, you push harder, you see opportunities others overlook, you don't settle, you don't coast, you don't get satisfied with average. And when you're humble, you remember that you're not invincible. You remember that no matter how high you climb, there's always more to learn, always more to give, always more to build. Humility keeps you from becoming your own downfall. I know some of you right now feel like you've done enough. You think because you're not where you used to be, you can slow down. But let me tell you, success isn't about what you did yesterday. It's about what you're willing to do today and tomorrow. Yesterday's grind is already gone. Yesterday's sacrifice is already spent. You've got to wake up every day hungry like you've got nothing, but humble enough to remember that everything you have can be taken in a moment. Socrates once said, "The only true wisdom is in knowing you know nothing." That's humility. Always being a student, always being teachable, always keeping your ego in check, because pride blinds you, but humility sharpens you. So don't let your achievements make you lazy, and don't let your success make you arrogant. Stay hungry, because hunger is the fuel for greatness. Stay humble, because humility is the protection for greatness. When you combine the two, you create a force that cannot be stopped. Stay hungry, stay humble, and make it happen. Everything you do starts in your mind. Before you ever make a move, before you ever take a step, it all begins with what you believe about yourself. Your body follows where your mind leads. If your mind is defeated, your actions will be weak. If your mind is doubtful, your steps will be hesitant. But if your mind is locked in, if your mindset is disciplined, focused, and relentless, then your actions will be unstoppable. Success doesn't begin in your bank account, it begins in your head. I've watched people with all the talent in the world crumble because their mindset was weak. And I've seen ordinary people with no resources, no advantages, no privileges, rise to greatness because they refuse to let their mindset be anything less than powerful. That's why mindset creates movement. If you can win in your mind, you can win in your life. Think about the gladiators of Rome. They weren't just fighters in the arena. They were men who had accepted in their minds that survival required courage. Some of them went in with no formal training, no armor, no real chance, but because their mindset was unshakable, they fought with a ferocity that outlasted fear. What gave them movement was their mentality. The same is true for you. Your fight starts with what you tell yourself in the mirror every morning. You've got to stop feeding your mind with defeat before you even try. Some of you talk yourselves out of greatness before the world even has a chance to doubt you. You tell yourself you're not smart enough, not strong enough, not capable enough, and then you wonder why nothing moves in your life. The words you speak, the thoughts you carry, the beliefs you hold, they are the seeds of your future. Plant weak seeds, reap a weak harvest. Plant strong seeds, reap a strong future. That's why when the storm comes, the person with the right mindset sees opportunity while everyone else sees disaster. The flood comes and most people drown in panic, but the one with vision uses that flood to push him to new territory. That's mindset creating movement. It's not about what happens around you, it's about what happens inside you. And listen, this is where wealth begins. People think money creates freedom, but I'm telling you, freedom starts in the mind. If you think small, you will act small. If you think poor, you will live poor. But if you train your mind to see abundance, to expect growth, to demand more, your actions will align with that expectation. Poverty is not just a condition of the pocket, it's a condition of the mind. Shift the mind and the movement toward wealth becomes natural. Remember what Epictetus said, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. That's mindset. That's the difference between those who move and those who remain stuck. So stop telling yourself the lie that you can't. Stop rehearsing the reasons why it won't work and start programming your mind with the truth. You were built for more. When your mindset changes, your movement changes, and when your movement changes, your life changes. Change the mind, create the movement, make it happen. Everybody wants destiny, but nobody wants discipline. Everybody wants the promise, but few are willing to pay the price. Let me make this plain. Your destiny isn't written by luck. It isn't handed down by chance. It's carved out by your discipline. What you do every single day, the choices you make when nobody's watching, the standards you refuse to compromise on, those are the brushstrokes painting the picture of your future. See, talent might get you noticed, but discipline is what keeps you in the game. A man can be gifted, but without discipline, he will waste it all. Discipline is showing up when you don't feel like it. Discipline is saying no to the easy path and yes to the grind. Discipline is building habits so strong that they carry you through the days when your motivation is gone. Think of the Spartans. They weren't just warriors because they were born strong. They were warriors because they were trained in discipline from childhood. Every step, every drill, every sacrifice prepared them for the battlefield. Their destiny as defenders of their land was forged in discipline long before they ever raised a sword. That same principle applies to you. Your destiny is not waiting on a miracle, it's waiting on your discipline. Some of you keep praying for a breakthrough, but you don't need another breakthrough. You need discipline. You need to stop asking for doors to open when you don't even have the discipline to walk through the ones already in front of you. You say you want wealth, but you spend recklessly. You say you want health, but you can't control your diet. You say you want success, but you keep hitting snooze. It's not the big things holding you back. It's the lack of discipline in the small things. Destiny doesn't belong to the dreamers. It belongs to the disciplined. Dreams without discipline are just fantasies. And fantasies don't pay bills, don't build legacies, don't change lives. Discipline turns dreams into reality. I'm telling you, discipline is wealth. Discipline with your money creates freedom. Discipline with your time creates opportunities. Discipline with your habits creates transformation. Show me a man who is disciplined, and I'll show you a man who can't be stopped. Poor Aristotle once said, "We are what we repeatedly do." Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. That means your destiny isn't determined by what you do once in a while. It's determined by what you do day in and day out. Consistency and discipline shapes excellence, and excellence shapes destiny. So if you want a better future, stop waiting for fate to hand it to you. Build it with discipline. Decide today that your excuses are done, your shortcuts are over, and your standards are rising. Decide that you will no longer be a slave to feelings, but a master of discipline. Because the disciplined man doesn't wait for destiny, he defines it. Discipline defines destiny. Build it, own it, make it happen. At the end of the day, talk is cheap. You can post quotes, you can hype yourself up, you can shout all the affirmations in the world. But if your life doesn't reflect it, nobody's listening. You want to change the world. Don't just talk about it. Live it. Become the proof that it's possible. Make your life the example that others can point to and say, if they did it, I can too. See, there are too many people talking about success and not enough people living it. Too many people preaching discipline, but their own house is out of order. Too many people claiming they want greatness, but their actions scream mediocrity. The most powerful sermon you will ever preach is not with your lips, but with your life. People may doubt your words, but they cannot deny your results. Think about the Stoics, men like Seneca. He didn't just write about self-control and virtue. He lived it. That's why his words have survived centuries. His life was the validation of his message. The same goes for you. It's not enough to want success. You've got to embody it. It's not enough to talk legacy. You've got to live in a way that leaves one. Ask yourself, if your children, your friends, your community studied your life, your habits, your attitude, your work ethic, would they see the blueprint of greatness or the blueprint of excuses? You can't expect your kids to chase their dreams if all they've ever seen you do is quit. You can't expect others to believe in possibility if you've made peace with mediocrity. Your life is the loudest message you'll ever give. And here's the truth. Somebody's always watching. Somebody's studying how you handle adversity. Somebody's observing how you move when you're tired, when you're broke, when you're overlooked. Somebody's paying attention to whether you practice what you preach. And when they see you keep going, when they see you stay disciplined, when they see you rise above the excuses, it lights a fire in them. This is where wealth creation goes deeper than money. Legacy wealth isn't just about assets. It's about influence. It's about leaving behind a story so powerful that it outlives you. When people can look at your life and draw strength, wisdom, and courage from it long after you're gone, that's real wealth. That's making it happen on the highest level. Marcus Aurelius said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." That's it. Don't argue, don't debate, don't waste energy proving yourself to people who don't believe in you. Just live it. Be disciplined. Be relentless. Be consistent. Be the example. So stop trying to convince people with words. Convince them with your life. Let your results be your response. Let your success be your statement. Let your discipline be your defense. The most powerful testimony you'll ever give is your life lived at the highest standard. Make your life the example. Don't just talk about it. Be about it. Make it happen. You've heard the message, you felt the fire, but now it's time to decide. Are you going to keep living the same cycle, or are you finally going to make it happen? I've told you to stop waiting, to kill the excuses, to grind with consistency, to guard your circle, to invest in yourself, to embrace failure, to stay hungry and humble, to fix your mindset, to live with discipline, and to make your life the example. These aren't just words. This is the blueprint. This is the formula to transform your life, your family, your legacy. But none of it works if you walk out of here inspired but unchanged. You can't clap for this message and then go back to average. You've got to commit. Right here, right now, decide that you will not leave this world without giving everything inside you. Decide that you'll be remembered not for what you talked about, but for what you built. The time is now. The choice is yours. Make the sacrifices, take the risks, push through the pain, and create the life you were born to live. Don't just dream it. Don't just wish it. Make it happen.